The following is a speculative analysis of a real aviation incident. The crash of Air India Flight 171 on June 12, 2025, was a tragic event. This video explores the complex questions surrounding the crash based on publicly available information and expert analysis. Since the official investigation by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau (AIB) is ongoing, many of the scenarios discussed here are theoretical as we await a final conclusion. All details are based on news reports and established aviation principles. June 12, 2025. Ahmedabad, India. Air India Flight 171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, takes off, bound for London. It's supposed to be the very picture of modern aviation, a technologically advanced machine. In fact, until this moment, the 787 Dreamliner had never had a single fatal accident in its entire service history. 30 seconds later, it was all over. The plane, carrying 242 people, simply fell from the sky, never climbing higher than about 625 feet. The final transmission was a frantic "Mayday," reporting a total loss of power. The aircraft slammed into a nearby medical college, killing 241 people on board and 19 on the ground. In the wreckage, there was a single survivor. The immediate question wasn't just how this could happen. It was why. In an age of fly-by-wire technology and redundant safety systems, the idea of two of the world's most reliable engines failing at the same time is more than an anomaly. It's what many investigators would consider a near impossibility. And because of that, from day one, there have been whispers that this was more than just a crash site. It could be a crime scene. To get a sense of the scale of this tragedy, you first have to understand the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. It's one of the most advanced passenger jets ever built, a marvel of composites and sophisticated software. Its safety systems have backups for their backups. That plane is designed to fly perfectly safely on a single engine for a very long time. The idea that both engines would fail at once, especially during the critical takeoff phase, is a pilot's absolute worst nightmare. Yet, that seems to be exactly what the flight crew of AI-171 faced. The flight data shows a routine takeoff, then a sudden, catastrophic loss of thrust. But another piece of evidence, if confirmed by investigators, would send shockwaves through the aviation world: the deployment of the ram air turbine, or RAT. The RAT is a small propeller that drops from the plane to generate emergency power if everything else fails, both engines and all primary electrical systems. It is the absolute last line of defense. For the RAT to deploy moments after takeoff suggests a total, systemic failure. That single detail, highlighted by legal firms representing victims' families, shifts the focus of the entire incident. A simple mechanical flaw, a bird strike, or a fuel clog might explain one engine failing. But both engines and the core electrical systems going dead at the same time? That points to something else, something systemic, and maybe, just maybe, something deliberate. Within days of the crash, the official messaging was cautious but clear. India's civil aviation minister stated that while all possibilities were on the table, the investigation would actively probe the angle of possible sabotage. This wasn't being treated as just a standard accident inquiry. The involvement of international teams from the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board and the UK's Air Accidents Investigation Branch shows just how seriously this is being taken on a global scale. So, what does it look like when a crash site is also a potential crime scene? Forensic teams wouldn't just collect wreckage, they'd be analyzing soil for contaminants. They wouldn't just be piecing together the plane. They'd be looking for signs of tampering. Access logs for every single person who came near that aircraft, technicians, baggage handlers, caterers, would be seized and reviewed. The question would no longer be just what failed, but who had access. Every maintenance log would be scrutinized for skipped procedures or unauthorized work. The fuel supply would be put under a microscope. Even the passenger and cargo manifests would be cross-checked by intelligence agencies. Was there a high-profile target on board? Was there sensitive cargo in the hold? Former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was among the victims identified. This multi-pronged approach is a chilling admission from authorities that they can't rule out the possibility that Flight 171 was deliberately brought down as investigators dig deeper. They'll be exploring several terrifying scenarios, which tend to fall into two big categories: old-school physical sabotage and the much more modern threat of a cyber attack. First, let's look at the physical possibilities. The most direct theory is fuel contamination, someone tampering with the fuel supply with a substance designed to make both engines flame out. Another path is maintenance sabotage. This would involve a compromised technician with access to the plane who could deliberately damage a critical part or fake a maintenance log. Given how complex the Dreamliner is, a small, targeted act could cause a cascade of failures. Finally, there's the possibility of someone planting a small device on the aircraft, not to cause a massive explosion like the 1985 bombing of Air India Flight 182, but to disable key systems in a way that looks like a mechanical failure. Then you have the darker, more invisible world of cyber sabotage. The Boeing 787 is basically a flying supercomputer. Its flight controls, engine management, and navigation systems are all networked. While they are meant to be shielded from the outside world, security experts have warned for years about potential vulnerabilities. A cyber-physical attack, where malware is written to cause a real-world physical disaster, is no longer just a theory. Could a hacker have gotten in? Maybe through a maintenance laptop, a weak spot in the in-flight Wi-Fi, or by corrupting a software update. The goal would be to issue commands the pilots couldn't counter until it was too late. For example, telling the engines to shut down while the cockpit screens report that everything is perfectly normal. It's an investigator's nightmare because the whole point of a sophisticated cyber attack is to be invisible. These theories are chilling, and the truth is still locked away inside the aircraft's recovered black boxes. Before we get to what those recorders might tell us, if you find these deep dives into aviation mysteries important, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. The world is waiting for the official word on what the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder contain. Those boxes hold the key. They have the pilot's final words, the alarms they heard, and thousands of data points from the aircraft systems. This data will either point to a specific, catastrophic technical flaw, or, if that evidence is missing, it will add even more weight to the sabotage theories. This tragic event carries the echo of a very real and painful chapter in Air India's history. The last time the airline lost a plane in a deliberate act was on June 23, 1985. On that day, Air India Flight 182, a Boeing 747, was destroyed over the Atlantic by a bomb hidden in a suitcase. All 329 people on board were killed in what was, until 9/11, the deadliest act of aviation terrorism in history. That attack was a brutal act of violence. The investigation into Flight 171 is confronting the possibility of a high-tech version of the same thing. Whether it's done with a wrench in the engine or a line of malicious code, the intent is identical. Investigators must consider that this could have been a targeted attack, either against a specific person or as an act of aggression designed to send a geopolitical message. The loss of Air India Flight 171 is a terrifying moment for modern aviation. The investigation is forcing everyone to confront a new generation of threats. The question is no longer just about whether a plane is mechanically safe, but whether it is digitally secure. The crash has shattered the perception of total safety that came with the world's most advanced airliners. The final report on this tragedy, whenever it is released, will do more than just explain why 260 people lost their lives. It will undoubtedly redefine aviation security for decades to come.